Hello, this is Pack Your Bags with Tui, and I'm Russell Kane, the podcast where we dig through celebrity suitcases one item at a time. Each episode, I'm joined by some of the biggest names from the world of sport, food, entertainment, and more. They're going to share their 3 must-pack travel items, from oddball keepsakes to brilliant travel hacks. Each item offers a glimpse into how they view the world, whether they're living the high life in 5-star comfort or surviving on a campsite. Mostly it's the first one, I'm not going to lie. It's not just about unpacking our guests' luggage. Okay, maybe there's going to be a bit of emotional baggage too. We're also sorting out your travel dilemmas. Listeners have sent dilemmas in, and we have a go at solving them with the help of my guest. And to polish it all off, we end with a quick fire round that really puts them in the hot seat. So there's only one thing left to do. Enjoy the episode. You ready to rummage? Let's pack those bags. She rose to fame as 1/5 of Girls Aloud, but since then has lit up the West End stage and our TV screens. She's probably quite triggered, as I have the teeth of Donkey from Shrek. Please welcome the multi-talented Kimberly Walsh. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome aboard.
Yes.
Kimberly, welcome to Pack Your Bags. How you doing? You good?
I'm good. Very good.
That's
I do feel like I'm about to fly somewhere.
I know.
Disappointing. It's not going to happen, but hey.
Oh, hey, the afternoon is young. Kimberly is here to chat about her travel experiences and has brought her 3 must-pack items along to show me. But before we get into that, every episode we throw a travel dilemma our guests' way, straight from the listeners.
Right.
Now, you might not necessarily be a travel guru, Kimberly, but who doesn't enjoy dishing out a bit of advice? So you ready to dive into today's dilemma?
Yes, I am.
I'm going to Ibiza this summer with the girls. The group chat is already non-stop with pictures of bikini options, but I'm really self-conscious about wearing one. How can I get over this?
Do you know what? I think that all women look great. I had to become like that because I felt like when you go on holiday and you've got young kids, you obviously don't feel necessarily the best that you're going to feel, but you can't let that hold you back from their holiday. So I think the fact that I had to just be like, all women look fabulous in their own way, and I'd say just go for it. You give a toss way less the older you get.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing.
So let's dive into the first item, which looks like some sort of headband.
Okay, so Cheryl bought me this as a gift when we started the tour that we just did, because I was complaining about my AirPods like being uncomfortable. So when you're on the tour bus, you've been on a tour bus, right?
Of course.
You've got to sleep for like the whole night sometimes on there. I need white noise blasting to
I love
sleep.
white noise.
Yeah, it's the only way I can have that sort of zone that I have at home is to have the same sound on the bus. Anyway, so this is like a headband with earphones in it.
No, you've just changed my
So they
life.
sit
You've changed my
over
life.
your ears.
No.
So much more comfortable. And then you can also double up and like put it over your eyes if it's too bright, which I found was really handy.
For Cheryl to gift you that, you must be known as a fussy sleeper then that needs white noise. Because I'm known to need perfect conditions for sleep. Can't be too hot, can't be too cold. Blackout. I've foiled windows before with tin foil. If I'm staying in a hotel for a week, I'll tin foil it up like I can do something illegal in there. But I can't bear daylight on my face. Are you the same?
Yeah, I'm not a good sleeper. We must be the same. I need darkness
Perfect
and I
conditions.
need white noise and ideally a fan as well. But sometimes
Aircon.
you've got.
Are you a hot sleeper?
I need to.
My God,
be cool.
we're twins.
Yeah.
We're sleeping twins. How noisy and chaotic is a tour bus when you're on a reunion tour and you're all a bit older and wiser, or is it still mental?
So when the kids were not there, it was literally like cups of tea, chat for a couple of hours, and then we all just go and hibernate in our beds with our headbands on. When the kids were on it, it's like everyone hands on deck helping with childcare, mainly for me because I'm outnumbered with my 3 and, Cheryl's got the 1, Nadine's got 1. So they were kind of like having to
Do you ever get envious of people that have only got 1 child? I know it's a bit of a tricky question, but
Look,
be honest.
I'm not going to say envious because I love being a mom of my little crew, but you just look and you're like, okay, that's what it could be like with 1 child. Whereas I'm like, okay, just trying to keep them all happy.
What age are your 3 then?
Mine are 3, 8 and 10.
Wow, you need like a sainthood or something. I think the next pope should immediately. What was it like being back on the road with the girls after all this time? Was it nice?
It was amazing.
Were you a bit scared about going on stage after a long break? Were you looking forward to it?
I was apprehensive about doing it all again because I hadn't done any music stuff since we stopped, which was like 15 years or something crazy like that. But it was literally like riding a bike, and we actually did ride motorbikes in the sky, which was pretty cool. But it was like riding a bike. Like it was like, oh, actually, this is the most normal thing for me to ever do because we spent so long doing that together. that actually everything we did on our own was way harder than just getting back with the girls and just sitting in your role and just doing that.
Like the first time you went on, did you get like sort of good happy tears or what
Yeah,
was
it was so emotional, obviously for loads of reasons. Sarah not being with us made it so tough, but actually it was still emotional on just like a general level of like, oh my God, we're all women now. Like we have kids that are out there watching us. We've shared so much together. So yeah, there was loads of moments where we were emotional.
How do you find traveling for long periods of time? Does it energize you, or do you get to a point where you really miss the comforts of home, or do you enjoy it?
I don't really love being away for long periods of time.
Same.
I think I love my home and it's like my safe space, and that is always going to be where I feel the most comfortable. It's great to sort of get a new energy to be away for like a night or two. Sometimes is just what you need, but after a couple of nights, even if I have to go away for work, I really want to be back with the kids. Like I just don't feel myself really.
Do you ever go on holiday with your friends that aren't your colleague, your pop colleagues type thing? And does it feel different? It must be nice working in a group, tensions aside. And how does it differ from traveling with friends?
If I get to go away with like my friends most of my friends are like friends from school. Like I've got a couple of friends that have just kind of stayed with me the whole way through. It's totally different, isn't it? Because you don't have all the hysteria around traveling. You're just kind of getting on with it. You're all just in a group together. And I quite like that, like just being in a normal situation. Although being back with the girls reminded me of what it's like to be looked after when you're traveling.
That's nice.
Instead of being the one holding a million bags.
But do you ever get travel guilt? If you're going, I don't know, if you're going to fly to Tokyo and do a gig and you sit in the hotel and the next day you're like, that's bad that.
We did that so much, like in the early days of the band. So, and I do actually regret it now, but I know at the time I just didn't have the capacity to leave the hotel room. Like I feel like we went to China, all these places, and I'm like, I didn't see any of it.
What's your role in the group? Are you the organizer? Are you the mum? Are you the teenager at the back?
I feel like naughty? I'm like the mum stroke organizer. So you can paint that picture. I do like to know what's going on. I like to be in control of stuff to a certain level.
Who's the most chilled? Who's the
Nadine,
most like, it'll be fine if we're late, we're late.
Nadine is so chilled. She is literally laid down. Like there's like times in the past where that trait was extremely annoying because you're like, do you know what? We need to be here.
My wife's the same, yeah.
But now I'm like, do you know what? It's quite refreshing that you really are just that chilled.
But don't you think people like you and me, as much as they annoy us, we actually need people like that in our life?
Yeah, because we could get too much.
We'd be like 4 hours early. And then,
no, exactly.
And then Lindsay likes to run alongside the wing as the plane's taking off and jump off just to get an extra 20 minutes in bed. Whereas I'd like to be at Stansted 4 hours before with a full breakfast.
Like,
exactly. Sure. But they also stop us getting stressed when the dung does hit the fan.
No, it's true.
It's like the car's broken down. Can't change it, and you're like, yeah, and Lindsay will sort my head out then.
Yeah, and people are just so different, and like I think what it makes you realize is that that's just who they are.
Yeah,
and I'm just like that. I can't help it. I'm always going to be early.
So, given that, what's on your rider then? Do you have a rider? Mine's so boring. Like, if you see what mine is outside, it's like nuts and water. I have a squirrels rider.
I think this time they were like, "Oh, should we just take your riders from back in the day?" And I was like, sure. And it was literally like some like jelly sweets.
I was going to say Haribo's.
If you get like a bottle of red.
Nothing extravagant.
Even back then, bottle of red. Just in case.
Look at you having a Malbec.
We had a bit of gin this time.
I couldn't imagine you having a swill of Malbec 15 years ago before you went on.
I don't actually ever drink before stage.
No, me neither.
I actually can't.
No.
But after sometimes I'm like, I've earned this.
Yeah. Ice cold beer when I get off stage is the best beer in the world. So what's the first memory that comes to mind when you think of your very first Girls Aloud tour?
So it was very different to any other tours that we did. And I actually did love like the intimacy of those audiences.
If you could make the numbers work and it worked and everything was the same, would you rather be in like a 1,000 or 2,000 seater rather than an arena so far as comfort and connection to the audience?
Yeah. You can just totally connect with every single person in the room, can't you, when it's smaller? Arenas, obviously, after a certain point, you can only do so much and you have to work so hard to try to get that energy across to them. But no, so there was really good memories of that because it was the only time we ever experienced it in that intimate way. And also, we didn't have a clue what we were doing. Like, you must know, like, the first tour you ever do is like a big deal.
Yeah.
And that was when we were like, okay, this is what it's all about. Like, yeah, the photo shoots are fun and making videos is fun.
But it
And,
just
but actually being out there performing your own songs to people and seeing their reaction and them singing back is like, okay, this is what I'm doing this for.
And what was it like seeing fans that in the audience, many of them would have followed you from the beginning and seeing them back?
Loads of them came, brought their kids, and it was a really amazing vibe, actually. Like everybody in the room just wanted to be there having fun. That's what it felt like. It felt like electric.
And we've established that we're both lame and hibernate in our hotel room before and after a show. But I tell you how you can experience the culture through the people and the fans that you connect with. So is there any destinations either from previous tours or whenever that stand out where you've learned stuff from interacting with the people? So like, for example, when I did gig in Japan, it's so far from my culture that I didn't really need to leave the hotel room, even the techs at the side of the
What was that like? And what was the difference?
Well, it's an English-speaking audience. Going backstage and seeing the etiquette backstage and just working with a different culture. You explore the place through the people you connect with. So I wondered if any destinations stand out for you.
A little bit. I think I remember like we used to love going to Holland and doing like the MTV things there. Like you said, everything is the same but different. You do get a sense of like the place that you're in as much as you can.
Is there any country that you've ever visited for work, either for filming, for MTV or whatever, that you've then gone, right, I have to come back here on holiday, and you've gone back?
New York. So the first time I went was just for fun, like took my whole family. We went for like at Christmas time for New Year. And it was so fun. None of us actually had any kids then, so it was very different to what it would be now. It's just me and my sibling.
Just say it. Just say better. I'm a parent. I can say it. It was better in a different way.
Full on New Year's Eve, and I ended with my sister. Puking up a chili dog in Central Park. Nowadays, it's more likely to be,
one of your children puking up a chili dog.
Met some really amazing people, trained over there and stuff. So then I saw a different side of it through the Broadway and work. And exciting. I just fell in love with it. And then I just go back if I ever get the chance. I just love to go back and just feel the vibe.
And traveling with the girls versus traveling, shall I say, with the boys, your husband,
yes,
your three
exactly
boys.
That.
How does that compare? If there was two doors you could walk through now, and it won't be a work-based trip with the gang.
Yeah.
But you're going to go somewhere. You're going to go to New York with the girls. You can go to New York with the boys. Which door are you walking through tomorrow for a 2-night break?
For the travel element, I'm definitely going with the girls.
Oh, we're talking a 2-night break. It's a city break.
Yeah,
I can do 48 hours.
2 nights in New York with the girls. Yeah.
I mean, my daughter's 9 now, and it starts early with girls. The kind of, hey, Daddy, I'd rather be with my friends. I'm like, you're not 13.
They are the independent
Why is this
girls,
starting now?
Yeah.
So I do about 2 days of, man, I'm living my life for me. I deserve. And then I'm like, I miss my baby.
That's what it is. You look at pictures of them and then you think, oh, they would have loved this. Oh, I would love to show them this. And you're like.
But do you ever sit there? I would say that I do sit there and go, but what am I doing with my life? Surely I should just be focused on my child. Why have I taken this gig? Am I a bad person? And then I get all upset for taking the work and want to be home. And I'm torn between wanting to be a creative artist and wanting to be with my family.
I think most people are torn in some way. Like our job's tricky, because you never really know when it's going to take you away from home. But don't you think everybody feels a little bit like that?
I think so, yeah.
Like there's loads of like jobs that their hours are just so long that they don't see their kids in the morning, they don't get back for bedtime. Like it's just tough. And sometimes you've just got to be like, actually, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to lead by example that, this is work and this is life. But they do guilt trip you.
Of course
like,
they do,
literally, if I say I'm going to Manchester because I work up there sometimes to do Morning Live, my middle son's like, because you don't care about us.
Yeah.
Like but just if he's in that mood and I'm like, oh my
But wait till you get this one that I just got. So Lindsay and I were planning a holiday to go away for Christmas with Minna, with Lindsay's mum, full family, and she said, I'd rather not go. Can I stay at home with my mum, with Nana South? We have Nana South and Nana North. That one will cut you so much more deeply than you don't care about us, is that I don't need you. Yeah. That is like being punched up through the gullet and out through the mouth.
No, I have 3 boys and they are soft left.
They'll
I
be-
know they need
29,
me. And the only
they'll-
way is like, how can I get to her? How can I go for the jugular
They'll
so
still
she
be
stays?
they'll still be there at 29 on the
I hope
PlayStation
so.
11 or whatever's
Yeah.
out by then.
Yeah.
What's your second item?
Second item. So this is, the little floaty device that my toddler needs to wear.
Ah,
But the amount of panic attacks that I've had, like in the night before you fly, that if I forget this, my whole holiday's ruined.
Mm.
Because when your kid can't swim, like the older two can swim, and when they can swim, you're like, oh, I can kind of breathe a little bit, like maybe start to relax ever so slightly on holiday. But this is amazing. Like as long as they know to keep this on the whole time, then you can actually enjoy your holiday.
And how do you, and I struggle with this a lot because all of the data and every single study says that the less we helicopter and overprotect, the stronger and more successful our children will be. But I am like a Velcro
Yeah.
and I know I'm going over the top. So I see an item like that and I'm with you. I just want to be in the pool,
I'm here for it.
watching from a bush.
Yeah.
But I know I should let go a little bit more to give her more. Like we just went to holiday and there was a shop from our lodge. We're talking a 5-minute walk. And
Yeah.
I took everything in my body to allow my daughter to do the 2-minute walk for the lodge without me
Yeah.
secretly following behind.
My 8 and 10-year-old, they are like really craving that freedom a bit more now. And I think sometimes I do feel bad because I think the way I grew up,
were
as
freer.
an 80s kid, I was way more free. Like when I tell them sometimes, oh yeah, I used to just go ride my bike, call on a friend, we'd go down to the waste ground, play there, go in the woods. I agree that maybe I need to chill out a little bit,
But we
but
can't do
I
it.
can't.
No,
So,
fair enough, I'm with
and I
you.
just need them to be safe. So,
We'll walk through the other door now. You're going with the boys. Are you more about backpack ons,
Oh, yeah.
secret alleyways, city breaks, or are you about adventuring? We're going snowboarding, we're going skiing, we're doing this. Or are you all-inclusive wristband on, stack of books, margarita for mummy at 6 p.m.? Where are we?
I think there's a time and a place for both, but we're
Good.
not like, I wouldn't say we're like an outdoorsy family.
No.
But I've realized that having a little bit of an element of something like football that they can do, and if they've got a bit of freedom, so somewhere safe where you can, like you say, let them go maybe to the shop, which is really just part of the hotel, but they feel like they're
Yeah.
going to the shop, just to make them feel a little bit, freer.
What's your view on the all-inclusive then? Because some people
Yeah.
sneer, but I love it. I love the permission to get that wristband. As my dad used to
Yeah.
say, no one leaves the resort till we're in profit, boy. And we would just eat and drink and not think.
Yeah, I used to kind of hate it because I personally like to go out and go to restaurants in the town and explore a little
So
bit more.
your travel style has changed a bit.
So, yeah, but I can see the benefit with kids. They just love it, don't they? And it does stop them asking you for snacks 50 million times a day
No.
because they can just go and grab stuff. So,
Have you ever been at all-inclusive where like the ice cream stand is included and they can just go up?
They serve a really good purpose, I think, for families to make it as easy as possible, which is what we all want, really, isn't it?
Any nice countries you can tell us about that you've been to with the family? Any recommends? Any, you must go here? Anywhere you want to go?
Well, it's Barbados.
It keeps cropping up on Pack Your Bags with Tui. And as a host, I'm trying to vary the places we talk about.
Yeah.
There must be something about this island. So why resist it? You got
Yeah.
married there. What's so magical about this place for you?
I think for me, and I'm sure you agree if you've been there, it's
Yeah,
the
several
people, it's the vibe. It's like, it's so warm and friendly and chill. Like the first time I went there, I was just like, this is where I want to retire. Like, this is where I'd like to be for the majority of my life. So yeah, after the first time I've been there, I just completely fell in love with it. And I think I knew that I would get married there if it was, if it was possible. And when we planned the wedding, we were like, oh, it's a lot to ask for people to come to Barbados. Like, you do the disclaimer, like, please don't feel like you need to come and all of that. 100 people came to
Wow.
Barbados. It was the most amazing wedding. And so many of the people that came, it was their first time and they've all been back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it is quite a special place.
Did you have rum punch at the party?
We did. We had
Yes.
we had like a Steel Drums Rum Punch vibe on the
Oh,
Friday night.
awesome.
Then we had the full wedding day, and it was I did do like a thing with a magazine, so it was quite a lot of drama on the island because they were having to like build tents to hide me walking from place to place, and everyone was so excited on the island. I mean, obviously they didn't have a clue how I was. They just assumed, you know, we should be excited about this because there's this whole big fuss. People like climbing over the walls of the church and
No
stuff.
way.
It was really cute.
I had a false impression of Barbados before I went. I thought it was all like 6-star resort. And the west of the island, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of that. But we stay on the south side, Maxwell Beach and all down there.
There's many
something for
parts.
every budget. And even if you're not trying to be on a budget, there's something nice and rustic about that south coast.
I think that's really important to say that actually, because like we will, you know, swing by St. James, mainly because we got married there. But most of the time we're not. We're finding like chilled like beach bars and checking out, other beaches and stuff. There's so much to see and you can drive around. It's so small, isn't it? We're coming up to our 10-year wedding anniversary next year, so we'll probably return.
You're going to renew the vows, you think?
I don't really feel like I need to renew the vows, but I feel like it'll be really special to go out there with all three boys and just have that, We have to give Oistings an honourable mention because every week I talk about dancing at Oistings. You know, the market. It's brilliant. I heard you talking about the reggae bus to OT, Mabusi, and she was like, no, I've never been. I was like, girl, you need to go on one.
Me and Lindsay had a little mini row about that. We had like a professional driver and he went, don't go on the reggae bus, it's dangerous. But my wife's like, why? Like, life's for the living. She bought like a spicy patty and a beer and just travelled in a circle on the reggae bus while I was on the beach.
I took the boys on the bus a few times. It's another, again, like a way to like feel like you're actually experiencing the culture a little bit. It was fun.
Anywhere else in the Caribbean you like?
My husband's dad is from Jamaica and I've still not been. Heard some really amazing stuff as well about how beautiful it is. So I think it's time to visit the homeland.
You ever been anywhere a bit weird or obscure, either for work or for fun? I mean, you mentioned China. That's quite full on.
Yeah, China.
Where did you go in China?
Random. We went to Shanghai. We were like representing our country and going to perform there.
What was it like?
The gig ever.
What was it?
It was like an initiative of like, you know,
pop
like
games or something.
You know, like no, just kind of an initiative where they were like trying to push like how amazing the UK was, and then they had these events, and we went to perform. That's all I can remember. But the audience,
you deleted the file.
Yeah, the audience was so inappropriate for our music. You know, they're all like really serious businessmen. It was one of those like where you could hear a pin drop and then we start like grinding, doing Love Machine. And I just remember thinking, I can't believe they've done this to us. This is so wrong.
Wow.
So my memories of China are interesting. And then I just,
but you've been there, man. You performed in Shanghai.
Went there,
We've got one last item to...
Yes, talcum powder. So...
Talk me through this. I mean, obviously I know what talc is.
Yeah, have you ever had one of those idealistic ideals that you'll take your kids to the beach and it'll be lovely. They'll play, they'll make sand castles, and then it all goes very pear-shaped because they've got sand all over them. They start screaming. It's boiling hot. You literally just wish that you could evacuate back to the hotel immediately.
So talc better have some amazing role in this.
No, so basically, I think I seen it on TikTok or one of these mum hacks. And then I had to try it to see if it actually works. But I never, ever go to the beach without talc now. And it worked on the last holiday I was on. It worked a treat. You literally just put the talc on top of the sand and it instantly takes the moisture out of it, and you just rub it off like this. So even if it's in like all the crevices, like if it's anywhere.
That sounds like adult usage as well.
I mean, it is totally for adult use to just get away with doing it a bit easier on a child. But I actually can't believe how well it works.
So it cancels
now
out
I'm
the
not
sticky
scared
sound.
of the beach so much.
So hold on a second, because this is going to be huge for lots of people.
No, it's big. Tap it on, rub it, and the sand just rubs off like dry sand.
Okay, so we always have a quick fire round, which, given the lengths at which both of us speak, will probably take a while, but we'll try. We will try. It is the quick fire round. Ta-dum. Here we go. Who would be your dream celeb travel partner? And I'm not going to let you pick anyone you've been touring with. Jay
McGuinness. I've worked with Jay McGuinness on loads of stuff, like musicals and stuff, but he's just such a fun guy, and he's done like, what's that program where celebrities have to go and like get hidden?
Oh, Celebrity Hunted.
And he's just like some of the stories that he tells me of stuff that he gets up to. I feel like if you went on an adventure with him, you'd have the best time. He's got all the hacks. Yeah, he's really fun.
Fave holiday snack.
Fave holiday snack. Why do I instantly just go to drink and not food? I'm like, I'm not really bothered about food.
A daiquiri is a smoothie, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'll let you have that.
Yeah.
Daiquiri smoothie. Favourite holiday activity, apart from vegetating and drinking, which is my favourites?
Yeah, okay. I like to be on the water. Is there anything better than being on a boat?
Well,
boat days.
I agree with you, but both Lindsay and her mother are like, oh, even if I stand on like the deck, even like waiting to board, I turn green.
Oh, shame.
Sometimes we'll go somewhere and we'll get like a posh boat for free and I can't use it.
Oh, no.
It's a nightmare. Biggest travel ick.
This is really bad, but you know when people are like, let's plan my travel outfit. Like it's, you know, when you feel like you've gone back to the 80s.
Yeah, Lizzo.
No, but you know, when you're just like, it's just something to wear on the plane.
Yeah.
Just the idea of like thinking about it, the travel outfit reminds me of like,
I've got a connecting flight and I want some flares to like really vibe it as I'm going between terminals.
I don't care what I look like on the plane is all I'm saying.
What's the first thing you do when you check into your hotel?
I like to unpack and at least like know where my essentials are because organised.
Yeah, I know.
Waiting for the meltdowns.
Lindsay's like, we'll do it tomorrow. And then we get to day 7. It's not worth unpacking now. What are your thoughts on clapping when the plane lands?
That's so funny that you say that because that happened to me on the last trip I was on. I went to Turkey a few weeks ago and everyone clapped. And I thought, I've literally not heard or seen anybody do this for about 20 years. So is it still a thing?
It's still a thing. And did it make you cringe or did you join in?
I mean, it kind of made me like chuckle a little bit, but then I sort of went with it. And the kids like it. And I am grateful to be alive when we land.
I was making fun of it and someone pointed out to me that my whole life is about getting people to clap when I finish doing something I've done 100 times and I'm grateful that I didn't die.
Exactly. You do kind of, you sort of laugh and then you're like, oh, but yeah,
I didn't die. Most embarrassing holiday story?
I slipped really badly once.
Oh, no.
walking over a bridge at Centre Parks. I was a teenager.
Oh, no.
It was so bad. No. It's because I fancied the lifeguard and I was really trying to do the walk and when I say slipped, I stacked it. I needed medical attention like that.
Really?
That was okay, but it was like on that level.
And did it work? Did you become like
recovered from that?
Was it vulnerable damsel and you fell in love or?
I think it probably gave him the ick. It's fine.
Never mind.
I kind of don't blame him.
Holiday planner or just turn up?
Plan all the way.
Absolutely.
But not too early ahead.
No.
I'm not one of those people that needs to know what they're doing like way far ahead, but I do need to know what I'm doing.
And obviously with kids and our jobs, this is not something you get to choose. But if you could choose, lie in or early riser?
I'll lie in all day long.
It's genetic, apparently.
I have to wake up early every day.
Holiday karaoke song of choice?
Most people that are singers don't like karaoke, but if I had to do one, I'd do something fun like I Want to Dance with Somebody or where everyone else would start singing too and then it wouldn't really be about me anymore.
Go-to holiday drink?
I do love a rum punch in Barbados.
Yeah. And they really, you really feel the punch when you have
You've got to feel it, right?
A Bayesian one.
Yeah.
Apart from Barbados, best beach destination?
Do you know what? The beaches in Mallorca are
I love Mallorca.
Amazing.
Bucket list destination, anywhere you've not been that you would dearly love to go to?
I want to go to the Maldives. I think
you've not been.
No, I've never been, and I think looking like on Instagram now, it feels like that's all you see at certain times of the year. Everybody's just like throwing it in your face, and you're like, no, I would like to go there at some point.
And there's some good places where they do have enough family stuff to keep you amused because yes, it looks like it is the archetypal desert island in paradise, but a lot of the resorts have great kids clubs and there's enough going on, so you're still getting that middle of nowhere.
Nice.
And there's some resorts that are quite close to the capital. It's because my daughter's not keen on doing lots of travel, so the seaplane isn't too far,
right?
Because otherwise you've got to land and then get another 2-hour propeller plane and all that.
Yeah.
So I would definitely back you on that. Maldives is amazing. It's going to be a tough one for you, but best travel memory, because you must have so many.
I mean, I got married in Barbados, so nothing can really top that. Like,
did you get married on the beach?
I got married at the cliff.
Wow.
Well, we got married actually in the church, and then we went to the cliff for the reception, the St. James Church, and then we go back with the kids now. Every time we go back to Barbados, we drag them to the church. They're like, yeah, we don't care, you got married here, but you just feel like you need to show them.
I suppose that could be, I never really spoke about that before, but I forgot me and Liz got married in Spain, but in rural Andalusia. So we flew into Malaga, then drove up and just got married with all our family around us, all the rolling cliffs. And,
it's just amazing, isn't it? Makes you want to get married again.
No, it does. Okay, well, thank you so much, Kimberly. Oh, I should probably check what's going on. I mean, I see you popping up on Morning Live. Have we got anything else going on? Any books? Any more music? Are you going to go out on the road again? Tease us, tell us what you're up to.
No, I'm busy with Morning Live now. I'm back on there. I had a little break after the tour. Just got all my usual projects going on. I work with Wix a lot, so I'm always DIYing.
Do you think the girls will go out again?
If you'd have asked me before we did this tour, I would have been like, oh, no. But now I'm like, there's no point saying no, because I never thought that would happen.
Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And I think the fact that you have a big break in between really makes you appreciate it.
What were the emotions like when the curtain went down at the final one?
Yeah, I lost it. I couldn't. The actual final show was Brighton Pride, because we came back to do that. And we were all kind of stood ready to take our bow. And our choreographer and creative director was telling us what to do, because it was a new show. Everything was slightly different. So she started talking to us, and she was bawling her eyes out down the thing. So then we all went. So she was like, come together in a line, girls. Lift your arms and go down. So that we're in time and we know what we're doing. But she's bawling. We're all bawling. I just lost it.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Pack Your Bags with Tui. If it's your first time listening, we have plenty more episodes for you to dig into with the likes of Grace Dent, comedian Rob Beckett, and relationship expert Paul C. Brunson. I love his voice. I could listen to him read out the phone book. And for those of you who have been with us all series, thanks for joining us on this journey. It's been a blast. I've been Russell Kane. That's been Kimberly Walsh. Goodbye.